We've done the worst of 2019, we've done the best albums of 2019, but now let's get into the best songs of 2019. There's going to be 2 videos in this part of the year-end list week series, and the first one is going to be the 10 best hit singles of 2019. The qualifications for this list were pretty simple. It was just any song that made Billboard's year-end Hot Country Songs chart. Billboard tabulates that through their own algorithm that involves radio airplay and streaming and sales and how many weeks a song charted, but anything from that chart was eligible to make this list. So these are going to be major label, mainstream hit songs, and all in all, like I've said in every video so far, this was a really good year for mainstream country music. The tide started to turn back in the direction of quality, more interesting songwriting. I'm not saying everything was good, and you can go look at my worst video if you're curious about what was bad. But I think in general, we're starting to get back instruments, we're starting to get back more thoughtful songwriting, and more just variation in the types of songwriting. It's not like every single song is a tailgate anthem like it was 5 years ago. But without further ado, let's get into today's list. At number 10 is Cody Johnson's On My Way to You. On my way to you. This is a solid love song with a really great vocal. The reason it's making my top 10 is because I love the big belting that shows off Cody Johnson's voice. And this was really his introduction to so much of America. You know, people in the Texas scene know him as this big rodeo star turned country star, and he sells out like the Houston rodeo, huge crowds. But for a lot of America, this was their introduction to Cody Johnson. And it was a great introduction because it showed off his big bellowing vocals and his kind of rock solid country with a little bit of rock sound. Plus, this is just a great, epic, romantic song about all of the struggles that were worth going through to be in this relationship. At number 9, Mr. Lonely by Midland. Midland has always framed themselves as these sort of roguish cads that will drink too much and then cheat on their wives with your wife. And Mr. Lonely sort of furthers that image. This is just a song about being a sleazy dude at a bar that's not Mr. Right, he's Mr. Right Now. And what makes this song work is really the energy. It has that kind of sleazy, bar-ish vibe. You've got that, I always call it a saloon piano that feels sort of inherently playful and naughty. And then you got the boot-stomping kind of line dance groove, and you got the great harmonies, and all together you're gonna feel like you're in the mid-90s country scene at a honky-tonk, just enjoying yourself. Regardless of whether or not you believe their backstory or think they're an authentic band or any of that. My number 8 song is Somebody's Daughter by Tenille Townes. Tenille Townes is an artist out of Canada, and shout out to my Canadian viewers. I see all of the comments of you wanting me to cover Canadian stuff. I got some educating to do first. But one of those artists is Tenille Townes. She toured with Dierks Bentley this year, and she came onto the scene with this song, Somebody's Daughter, that became a minor hit. This is a song about a moment in time when Tenille locks eyes with a homeless woman on the street, holding up a sign, and she just imagines, who is this girl? She must have had a past. She must have had parents. She must have at some point been young and hopeful, but how did she get to this place? And she co-wrote it with Luke Leird and Barry Dean, and so I feel like how could it not have sort of a lovely message? The song is an invitation to empathy. It's an invitation to see the world through someone else's eyes, and in that way, there's something really sweet and unique about it. I love the timbre of Tenille Townes' voice. I think it's probably very divisive. I think some people find it a little bit reedy or whiny in its sound, but to me, the kind of like high pitch of it makes everything feel really intense when she sings. And in this song and in another song you should check out called Jersey on the Wall, I think it does just that. At number 7 is God's Country by Blake Shelton. I saw the light in a sunrise sitting back in a... I think I really like this song because it reminds me of how I was introduced to Blake Shelton, which was the song Ole Red. God's Country has a similar kind of gothic vibe to it, and it feels so dark and epic in a way. And I think the sound of the song captures both the seriousness with which Blake is saying he loves the South, but also this kind of fear of God type feeling that it's not even the South's land, it's God's land. Plus, the crazy background vocals in the last third of this song are just so cool and unexpected, and they really make this song for me musically. But I also love this song just because it was such an unexpected song from Blake Shelton. I felt like, okay, Blake Shelton has really just become a voice judge. It's now his job just to go be funny on Ellen and to be sort of an affable character that represents Nashville to most of America in a friendly manner. And I thought he was kind of done taking chances. I thought we were just going to get a million I'll Name the Dogs and Honeybees from here on out. But to me, God's Country represented a real creative decision and thinking outside the box in a way that made me excited to see where Blake Shelton goes from here. Unfortunately, he went to Hell Right, which I know some of you love, but it's not my thing. And number 6 is Die From a Broken Heart by Maddie and Tay. I so believe in the talent of Maddie and Tay. I still think it is so badass that they came out of the gate as teenagers with this big protest song of Girl in a Country Song. And I'm sure that made them some enemies in Nashville, and then they got stuck in this label turnover and were left without a label home for years, but now they're starting to release music again, and it's not really been the same momentum as they had with songs like Fly and Girl in a Country Song. They're kind of having to rebuild. And I really hope that this song, Die From a Broken Heart, becomes the hit that reestablishes them, because I think the song is excellent. The hook here is a girl asking questions to her mother. At first she's asking things like, how do you get a wine stain out of your favorite dress? But as the song goes on, her questions get a little bit more desperate and sad. Mama, can you die from a broken heart? I think it's delivered beautifully. I think the music video for this song is gorgeous. And I think the nice steel guitar running through it and the beautiful acoustic guitar, it's just also tasteful. And I hope that it gives them the momentum so that they can really put out an album instead of kind of these EPs they've been releasing. Because they're too talented, they got too much to say for them to be on the sidelines. At number 5 is Some of It by Eric Church. Some of it, you learn the hard way, Now, compared to a lot of Eric Church's songs, I would say that this is definitely a little bit more checklisty. Because instead of a clear narrative running through this song, it's almost like a proverb. It's just a lot of little pieces of advice of what Eric Church has learned along the way. Money ain't rich, everybody sins, nobody wins in a fight. And then, of course, he gets to the chorus and says, some of it you learn the hard way and some of it you read on a page. I know I probably don't know what I think I do, but there's something to some of it. He's like, take my advice with a grain of salt, but please do listen. What I love about this song is that we have been watching an artistic arc with Eric Church for the better part of the last decade. From this bad boy that's rough around the edges and doesn't want to be understood with his aviators on and a drink in his hand. And now he's becoming this thoughtful, mature, protective father figure to his wife and kids. I mean, he even says in this song that what really makes you a man is being true to her till your glass runs out of sand. I feel like there are very few characters within country music whose career is kind of making a big statement the way Eric Church's is. And it's really satisfying to watch as a fan. And, to talk about the music for 2 seconds here, it's a really pretty melody. At number 4, we got Heartache Medication by Jon Pardi. And here I go again, I'm drinking one, I'm drinking two. Y'all know how I feel about Jon Pardi, you know how I feel about his album, and the lead single from it, Heartache Medication, was a jam. And instrument shout out, the fiddle is what makes this song so awesome. There's fiddle all over this record, and it certainly felt like a bold thing to put it so front and center on a big launch single for a new album. This song has a kind of drunken, woozy vibe about it as he is describing going to a bar to relieve his heartache. So it really works. And what I really love in the song is all of the wordplay. There's a little couplet in here that I adore, which is, singles drinking doubles, teardrops turning into bubbles. There is so much happening in those 2 little lines, pun-wise and changing state of water to bubbles and alcohol and tears. I mean, all of it. It's just so cool to me. But if you watched the last video, I'm sure you've heard enough about Jon Pardi. Okay, a few honorable mentions before we get into the top 3. Millionaire by Chris Stapleton is a beautiful song about what really matters in life. Whiskey Glasses by Morgan Wallen is strangely addictive, like almost hypnotic, how pleasant that song is and how easy it is to listen to it over and over again. What If I Never Get Over You by Lady Antebellum is a little bit bland, but the back half of the song has one of the best builds that I have heard in a long time in any song, and it's so satisfying. when you exit the bridge and they've said ever and ever and ever, and they hold that big sustained note and the chorus comes crashing in again. It's just good. Rednecker by Pardi is a pretty charming song because I choose to believe it's all very in on the joke. But I think what makes it a smart song is that it works whether or not you're taking it literally, as this is a song about how redneck I am, because that does matter to some people. I know it because I get called a beta male by them in every video. But it also works, if you find yourself as the soy boy beta male that couldn't possibly understand anyone other than himself. It also works ironically too. And then I'm going to say 16 by Thomas Rhett. I know I give Thomas Rhett a lot of crap on this channel, and I am not really a fan of all of the sort of Maroon 5 light pop music that he makes. But I think when I hear songs by Thomas Rhett that are him reflecting on growing up, whether that's life changes or 16, and kind of thinking about how his life is progressing, it brings out a really likable side of his lyricism, and I think the production on this is certainly my favorite of any of his singles. But let's get into the top 3. At number 3 is More Hearts Than Mine by Ingrid Andress.
If I bring you home to mama, I guess I better walk.
Ingrid is a new artist on the scene. I actually don't know a ton about her, but what I do know is I absolutely love this song. It's just a unique kind of relationship song because it's not one that's like, I'm so in love, and it's not one that is about a breakup. Instead, it's about the anxiety she's feeling as she's about to introduce this guy to her family. She says, if I bring you home to mama, I guess I better warn you, she falls in love a little faster than I do. And she has similar sentiments about showing this guy her father and her hometown, and there's something really vulnerable in doing that, and she's just feeling the fear of that and saying, if we break up, I'll be fine, but you'll be breaking more hearts than mine. Like, I'm more connected to other people and places than just you. Ingrid Andress has a really classic, clear tone, and she delivers this gorgeously. At number 2 is another piano ballad, and it's Kacey Musgraves' Rainbow.
Sky is finally opened. The rain and wind stop.
Rainbow is a song about resilience that ever since I heard an acoustic version of it that I think she played at a songwriter festival like 5 years ago, I've thought is a standout. Because what it does is it takes the whole idiom of having a storm cloud over your head and feeling bad about yourself, and Kacey tells someone that's in pain, you don't have a storm cloud over your head. You have a rainbow over your head. Like, look up, chin up, be resilient, stand strong. And I think it is something that everyone needs to hear from time to time in life. Everyone needs someone else to look at them with love, with care, with compassion. And I think that empathy, same as I was talking about with Tenille Townes, is captured really beautifully on this song. Even after she won the Grammy, this really didn't become a hit on radio, but much like all of Kacey Musgraves' music, the public finds a way to get to it because it's really good. And my number 1 hit single of 2019 is Even Though I'm Leaving by Luke Combs.
Just 'cause I'm leaving, it don't mean that I won't be right back.
This was a song co-written by Luke, Ray Fulcher, one of his frequent collaborators, and then Wyatt Durrette, who wrote a number of hits for the Zac Brown Band, including Highway 20 Ride. He's now been working with Luke Combs in the last few years. And it features one of my very favorite things that happens in country music, which is an evolving chorus meaning. I love when you can take a chorus and it means something slightly different in the different sections of a song, and that's absolutely the case here. First, you've got a boy worried about monsters under his bed that asks his dad to stay close with him. Then you've got that same boy that's going off to war, and the dad says, I'll still be close to you even though you're leaving. And then finally, you've got the boy, you can see where this is going, seeing his dad on his dad's deathbed and saying, like, even though you're leaving, I know you'll be right by my side. It's a tearjerker and instrument alert, just like we had the fiddle with John Pardi. This song showcases the mandolin in a big way, and it's so cool to get a big mandolin moment on country radio. What a gorgeous little kind of medieval, whimsical instrument. So that's it, guys. Those are my top 10 hit singles of 2019. I think it was a really great year. And like I said, if you want some more indie stuff, if you want some deeper cuts, stay tuned for another video later this week when we'll get into those. Thanks, guys, so much for a great year. Hope you had a good Christmas or a good holiday, whatever else it is. And I'll see you guys real soon.